Hey YouTube, I went to Rausch Creek with Off-Road Consulting on one of their monthly rides. This is Trail 39, and please like and subscribe. Subscribing it really helps me out. I'm trying to build the channel up, and as I get more subscribers, it will unlock features on the channel. I think the first feature that I get at 100 subscribers is the ability to actually name the URL. I sped the video up a little bit for time, just to speed this up. This is a blue trail at Rausch Creek. This is on the northeast property, and this is one of the trails that he commonly uses for his training classes, he being Kyle. So if you've gone through one of his classes, probably you've seen this trail before, but we're not in a class. This is just a monthly ride where they organize a bunch of Jeeps and everybody just sort of follows each other around and goes to the park and kind of explores. My preference is typically to pretty much only go out with one other Jeep and just have two people go around and explore, and I kind of like leading. That's what I do mostly. However, when you don't have somebody, to go out with, readily available, then we'll go out with like Off-Road Consulting or one of the other groups. And sometimes it's nice to have like more than one person there, but I think my fave is to go out by with just like one of the Jeep, because you can do so much with just one of the Jeep. So these obstacles, they're pretty reasonably sized that we're going over. Compared to say like the URI Park, those obstacles there are probably something that you might see, say, on Dickey Bell. Obviously, this is not the Dickey Bell Trail. This is nowhere near the difficulty of Little Daniel, but it's probably similarly sized obstacles, since I know that there are some people that have a lot of experience with URE that might be watching this. Those couple obstacles I went over probably are also on par with like blue at AOAA, but the difference is typically the AOAA blues are just nothing but rock gardens, and you'd be going over those style obstacles just like pretty much like non-stop. You wouldn't have these big giant flat areas with like no obstacles. That's not common. I am digging kind of like the high grass that they have here. That's kind of cool. I don't know what it is, if it's wheat or just brush or what it is, but I kind of like that kind of like enclosure feeling. You get that at a lot of different trails in Pennsylvania. So if you're seeing this now and you know that it's snowing at Rausch, this was a trip from a few weeks ago. Well, usually when I post the videos, they're a little bit delayed because I have to go through and edit the videos and everything. So as much as this looks super easy for me to just like kind of go right over it, for a stock vehicle like that right there is actually pretty difficult. Mainly just from the obstacle size, but obviously tire size plays a big thing in getting over at least that obstacle. So this is an area that Kyle usually uses for a lot of his training classes, and a lot of people probably remember that up and downhill. Here are some of the other Jeeps going over the obstacle. Since this is a blue group, there are no stock Jeeps in our group. I think, like when you look at the Jeeps, I think that pretty much every single Jeep has at least 35s today, and then I'm probably the largest Jeep in the group on 40s. And I just realized that Kimberly is driving in this video because the video point of view is from the passenger side. That'll show you how long it's been since we did this. It's been probably 3 or 4 weeks ago since we did this. So this loops around. There used to be a stump in the middle of that water hole there, and then we're going to go to the left and line up. But when Kyle does his class, a lot of times from here you turn right, and then you go up that hill, and then you come down where I had just jumped out at. And you can see this is pretty steep. I mean, we're like almost facing straight at the ground. These like little up and downs are not like nothing at all. They're actually pretty aggressive up and downs. So we're gonna go out here and spot people through any spots they have issues with. And you can see there's a kid down there He's probably 4 feet tall, and you can see that the ledge behind him was like twice as tall as him, so well, 2 times more than his height, so it was like maybe 12 feet up. It wasn't straight down, obviously, but you can see that in that hole you can fit a whole Jeep in the hole. And that's a whole Jeep on 35s that isn't a stock Jeep. So when the entire Jeep fits in a hole, then you know that it's a pretty good size hole.
That big puddle of icy water.
So the black on this white Jeep is actually just magnets. It prevents the Jeep from getting scratched up. And you can see the video doesn't really give it too much. It makes it look a lot easier than it really is. All videos do. But once again, you can see that this entire Jeep is in this hole.
Yep.
The start of the hole is about at the hood, and the back of the hole is above the back of the hardtop. So going the other way, if we were going up it, it would be kind of like that hot putt tub area that's near the cattle chute that we just recently did at Uwharrie after this Rausch Creek trip. And you'll see footage of Uwharrie with a similar obstacle. The one at Uwharrie is a little bit steeper. It's not like angled like that, but this one is a lot looser than the other one. But it would be pretty comparable in size. The only difference is going down the obstacle, where at Uwharrie we were going up the obstacle.
It might be gone now, but there used to be one.
So I know that we have more Jeeps, and we are looking for the other Jeeps. So this spot right here that you can see that goes up the hill, that's typically the route that we normally take when I'm on this trail, and we're cutting off about half the trail. But normally you go up that and then down, but I think it was a little bit sketchy and Keith didn't want to have us go up it. Like he told me personally, like I could go anywhere I wanted, like he didn't care like where I went in the park, like he's like, whatever, you're on 40s, like I don't care, like you can drive off a cliff, I don't care. But I know that like for like a lot of the other people in the group that may not have been on 40s with lockers and everything, we are being a lot more careful with making sure that nobody damaged their vehicle or got stuck or anything like that. So I mean, it was really a good ride. Keith is a good spotter. And there he is having a conversation. So this little black Rubicon here, I see it on a lot of trips. I think it's sort of like a pseudo, maybe it's an employee off-road consulting, I'm not really sure. But usually he's like the tail or near the tail, but he's not the tail on this ride. So with off-road consulting, guided rides, they have a tail, like a designated tail that is part of off-road consulting, and they have a designated guide that's part of off-road consulting. And then the clients are basically the people in the middle, the people that paid to be led through. And the guides know the park in and out, and the guides will make sure that everybody makes it through the park safely. And we all try to minimize the amount of damage done to vehicles. And then typically they have more than one different rating of rides. So I think this time they had like 2 different green rides, a blue ride, which would be a more difficult ride, which is still the one that this is, and then they had 2 or 3 training guide ones. And then when they walk around and they look at the vehicles, they kind of do a tech in, kind of like you do with Jeep Jamboree. They kind of get an idea of talking to you on what your experience level is, and then they if they have to, they try to explain to you where the appropriate place would be, because they don't want to have like somebody being forced into doing stuff that like is way harder than they should be, and they don't want somebody being super bored either. So they do their best to try to make sure that everybody has a good time and that everything is spot on. I don't know the minimum requirements for doing the blue guided ride at Rausch. I did it with 35s with my Rubicon, so like that should be good. But once again, I don't know. We have no stock vehicles with us, so I don't think they would appreciate a stock vehicle doing the blues, but they probably would more than. I've seen plenty of stock vehicles on greens, so we're gonna head out and go to the next trail. So, oh yeah, please like and subscribe. Like I said, subscriptions really help me out a whole lot. But liking the video is important too. So thanks.